name is Felicia Wright, and this is the Go Rogue podcast. Do you feel stuck? Does every day feel like Groundhog's Day? Well, I'm here to tell you it's time to take charge of your life and know that you are meant for more than this. It's time to go rogue. This podcast is for people that are ready to say enough is enough and discover their new normal with entrepreneurship. Get ready because your rogue journey starts now. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the Go Rogue podcast. Super excited to be here. This is episode 31 and I'm going to talk about what is freelancing and why you need to know exactly what it is. So my name's Felicia Wright, your host for the Go Rogue podcast, and I really wanted to talk about freelancing because in the online space, it's all about side hustle, side hustle, side hustle. And I know when I first started out, I was like, well, what on earth does that even mean? Side hustle? Like, okay, I'm starting a business on the side, whatever. When you're first starting out, you're just so lost in the sauce that all these terms and stuff are just really confusing and you have no idea. So I really want us to go over what freelancing is and why it's important to know. So freelancing is basically anybody that is selling their services. So for example, if you are selling admin services to somebody, you are a freelancer. And as a freelancer, you're not directly working for them. You still work for yourself, but you're almost like a contracted position. You set the time, you set your rates, you decide when you want to work. That is a freelancer, and that extends to so many different positions, or not positions, side gigs, side hustles. It's a lot of different things like that. So, for example, if you do photography on the side, you're a freelancer. If you are a social media manager, you're a freelancer. If you're a podcast manager, you're a freelancer. So you are selling your services to someone or a business owner and charging them for it. So that is what freelancing is, because I know with online, we just see the side hustle and we're like, okay, well, what is that? So how do we put that together? So if you are thinking about putting together a side hustle or becoming a freelancer, the first thing I want you to do is to really start to think about what you like to do. The last thing I want you to do is to get wrapped up into something that you don't like, because more than likely, you are trying to escape your 9-to-5, because most people that start the freelancing journey, if you are in your 30s like me, more than likely you're trying to escape a job that you no longer like, that just no longer serves you, that you're just not the right fit. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to escape. So we really start to look into these side hustle gigs. So when you are looking into stuff, I really want you to think about what you like to do. Please don't do something. So say you are looking into becoming a VA, an admin VA, and that's what you did at your 9-to-5. And say you hated your 9-to-5 because you hated doing admin work. Please don't become a admin VA, because you already hated it. You know you hate it. You tried it at your 9-to-5, and that might be one of the reasons that you're trying to leave. I'm sure there's some other extenuating circumstances, but I don't want you to get back into what you were doing just for the sake of, oh, I already know how to do it. And that's what I find with a lot of people that I work with. So when they want to become a freelancer or escape their 9-to-5, they're like, okay, well, in my 9-to-5, I did admin work. And my first question is, well, do you even like doing admin work? That's the most important part. And whether they say yes or no. So if they say yes, I'm like, okay, we'll be an admin VA. But if they say no, it's like, okay, well, let's really focus on what you like to do. And a lot of people get stuck here. And I went down this exact same path. When I first started, I asked myself, I'm like, okay, what what do I want to do? And then I was like, oh, well, teaching. I was like, well, I could be a tutor. I was like, wait, no, I don't want to teach right now. And I was like, okay, well, what else do I have? Else do I like to do? And I discovered that I like social media. So I offered social media services for a long time, and I still do. I still have social media clients in my team, and I handle their accounts. But it's important to start your freelancing journey with something that you actually like to do. So I got there pretty quick. At first I thought I'd want to be a VA, but I was like, no. That does not sound like fun, like just general for me. I was like, no, that's not my zhuzh. I can do it, but I don't want to do it. So if you are trying to start a side hustle, think about what you like to do. And here's the hang up that most people get caught up on. And this is the big one. So a lot of people are like, okay, well, I don't know what I like. That's one big hang up. And the second hang up is I don't know how to do it. So when I started social media management, I knew how to use the basics of social media. I'm going to reference Facebook because most of my clients are on Facebook. So I'm going to reference Facebook a lot. I knew how to use Facebook. Basic posting, saying hello to people, but that's it. I didn't know how to put together a strategy. I didn't even know how to post on somebody's behalf. And if you don't know, I also offer Facebook ads to clients as well. And in the beginning, I didn't even know what a business manager was. And if you're out there saying, well, I don't know what the business manager is, basically a business manager is the back end of Facebook that you can put on your Facebook business page. And you run ads from there and do all sorts of fun stuff. So that's what the business manager is. But I had no idea what that was. I didn't even know how to create a Facebook business page. I didn't know the first thing about putting together a Facebook ad. But when I made that decision to specialize in social media marketing, I took the steps to learn. So if you're thinking, well, I have no idea how to be a social media manager or a VA or a podcast manager, there are courses and things out there for you to learn. And there's the almighty YouTube. Almost everything. YouTube is pretty amazing. So I want to say, everything that you need to learn, you can find on YouTube, but I don't think that's 100% true. I think it's like 95% true. But just to get you going, YouTube is enough. YouTube is definitely enough. And then there's other platforms out there that are free or very, very low cost, so you can learn the skills in the industry that you're trying to go into. So say you want to be a freelance photographer, you start taking on clients and photographing people. Well, then if you don't know how to use a camera, that's fine. YouTube, you can learn probably a big bulk of what you need to learn, or you can talk to a friend, or you can find an online course. So if it's important to you, if it's something that you really want to do, you can find the information online. Like, we live in a great time right now where you can find anything and everything online, which is so super cool. And you can learn quick, fast, and in a hurry. And when you're first starting out, you can photograph family, you can photograph yourself, get some cousins or somebody just had a baby in your family, offer to go to the hospital and take some pictures of them, and just get started and see how you like it. And that will help you decide whether it's like, oh, this is something I want to do, or no, this isn't for me. So really start to experiment, and please don't get hung up on like, well, I don't know how to do that, because you can learn. And honestly, learning is like that's the fun part. I think for me personally, like I enjoy learning quite a bit. So once I learn something and I've just kind of been sitting on what I know for a while, I start to get a little antsy and I'm like, okay, what else can I learn now? Because I need to move on to the next big thing. And granted, you shouldn't hop around, but for me, it works because I really enjoy learning new platforms, learning how to do new things and starting new things. So like even the podcast, like kind of sort of started it on a whim because a couple of family members are like, why don't you have a podcast? I'm like, I don't know. So let's do it. So I got it done. And that was the most exciting because it was something new and fresh. And it's really my platform to say whatever I want. And I like that. Don't judge me too harshly, but I like that it's my baby. It's mine. I do what I want. So that's the best part of having a podcast. So I don't want you to get hung up on, back to what I was talking about, freelancing. I don't want you to get hung up on, well, I don't know how to do it, because you can learn. So if you are thinking about starting a side hustle or AKA starting freelancing, really start to think about what you like. And if you can't come up with an answer, think about things that you could potentially like. That's basically what I did. It's like, oh, I like social media. I like to post here and there, so I could potentially like it. And I went down that path. So, and then think about your strengths as well. And then go down that path and figure out if it's for you. And then don't be scared if you start learning and you're like, wait a second, this is not for me. Don't be scared to be like, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm moving on to the next thing. Don't be scared to do that. You have to be kind of brave to step out and say, like, this is what I want to do. Or even brave to say, like, yeah, I did this for 2 months and it didn't work out for me. I'm moving on to the next thing. I don't see a problem with that. I think that that's really courageous to say that and to do that for yourself, because most people don't do that. They just keep going and getting stuck in a rut. Like, we've all been stuck in a rut. A lot of people get stuck in a rut, and even though it's not serving them, before you know it, they've been doing something for 5 years, and it's like, wait a second, why didn't I stop this 5 years ago? I knew 5 years ago that I didn't want to do this anymore. And a little side note with that, like when actually my first year teaching, I knew my first year teaching I didn't want to do it. And that's really hard and sad to say, but after my first year, I just knew. I was like, I don't see myself doing this for 20 plus years. So I knew. So I think most people know. You just have to be brave enough to admit it to yourself. So please be brave enough to admit it to yourself and pivot. So that's what I have for you today. So freelancing, side gig, same thing, as long if it's service based, and really start to look for what you like and what you could potentially do, and that will serve you. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you'd like to connect with me, please head over to well, you're here on the podcast, so yay. You can follow me on social media at Facebook and Instagram. My username's at Hey Felicia Wright on Facebook and Instagram, and my website is heyfeliciawright.com. So if you want to head over there and check it out, I would love for you to say hello. So I hope you had enjoyed this episode 31. So go out there, be brave, escape your 9 to 5, and go rogue.